Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the FireStorm podcast. As always, I am joined by my other half, Gus.
Hi.
That sounds very weird. We're not married.
Sexual.
Fuck you. This is not sexual. You're
Nope.
the other half of the FireStorm podcast members, and today's special guest is known for the self-published light novel series, AR Dragonfly, as well as other light novels and his reviews on the outerhaven.net. Please welcome Joshua J Piedra.
What? Am I on? Screw you. I'm not saying anything funny.
Do it. Did I pronounce your name correctly, actually?
Actually, you
tried.
did.
Well
On the
done.
first try,
Yes.
too, without any help whatsoever on the previous broadcast.
No, definitely
Zero
not. So
help.
this is definitely not a second attempt at this. But
I can't even
had
count
enough
that
time
high.
to script an intro because we completely bollocks to the last one. So
What last
anyway,
one?
what last one? Anyway,
What last
welcome, Josh. How are you doing?
Oh, just fantastic. You know, just sitting here, actually pressing record this time so you don't have to do this a third time. You know, all the good stuff.
No one has to know.
Sunday
No one has to know.
evening. I'm gonna order pizza after this. It's just a great time.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
So,
Pizza for one.
pizza for one. Sounds like your autobiography. Anyway,
Pizza for one.
so
That is epic.
fucking hell. Anyway, Josh, like myself, is an author, although he has been pumping out several more books than I could ever wish to
Several
reach.
is generous, Trent.
Yes, as we have discovered, he has been releasing AR Dragonfly at a rapid success, and it has been incredible to watch, literally just from a distance on your Facebook page. It's just like, oh shit, I need to actually publish something again soon, because I'm just like watching you like, god damn it, what am I doing with my life? So, how have you gone about the rapid release of AR Dragonfly? How has that come about?
It's actually started when I actually switched artists. So my old artist who worked on Final Hope and the first 5 volumes of AR Dragonfly, he kind of didn't really communicate when things are going to be like late or anything. So some days I would get, an art piece every 2 days. Sometimes I would get him every 5 days. Sometimes I get him every 30 days. So it was always like a really weird like schedule. So I would end up writing a book, and then I would just sit there and wait for the art to be completed. And like 6 months later, the 10 commissions are done, and then I published the book. So I was averaging like 2 books a year. Then,
so because you're doing because it's a light novel series, you have art in the middle of the book as well, like throughout the book, rather than just the cover. You have art throughout the entire thing, not like a few pages of art in the middle of the book or something like that, don't you? Because isn't that how typically light novels work?
yeah, so I basically have a character done for the cover, and I pretty much do the backgrounds for the covers myself. And then throughout the book, if I introduce like a character for the first time, I'll put the artwork in on like the very next page after they're introduced. Or if it's like a major scene, I'll actually have like the artist draw like the characters I want in the pose, and then I'll actually create the background for the scene and throw it in as like a double page spread or something.
Nice. We also need to mention that, you are a graphic designer, and you're the one that designed our logo. So, even though we're going to shout you out in the description, you've been shouted out in every single description we've had because you made the fucking logo. So, yeah, there you go.
Hey, I just want to say that I had the idea for the logo. It was just Josh that actually made it, because I have no experience in graphic design. I was just none.
I can make an okay YouTube thumbnail. That's about it. I can't really do much else.
Does that even count? Oh, you use Photoshop.
No.
I use Google Slides.
Yeah, Google Slides.
For my thumbnails,
Wow.
I use
Wow.
Google Slides, bro. That's a hidden gem.
Wow.
Because all it is
That's
is just
right
putting...
there, though.
Yeah. It literally, all it is I just put a bunch of like text on top of each other on some images. I mean, that's all it is. Why even bother with Photoshop if I can do it in PowerPoint, basically?
Well, fair enough, but
Yeah.
shit, the Google Slides, my god. But
I love Google Slides. Please sponsor me.
No, they would need the entirety of Google to sponsor us just to get any hope.
Lame.
Anyway, yes, cheers for making that logo, Josh. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Because I was just like, hey, dude, do you know anyone that's good at graphic design? It's just like, me. I'm like, oh, can you
Just,
help
like,
us?
slowly raise my hand.
No, because I wanted to know, like, back, like, who did your logo and the artwork and stuff, and you mentioned you did the backgrounds, and I was just like, oh, shit, nice. So that is a big helping hand to us, because we were just like, do you want like $5 or something? He's like, nah, this is easy. I'm like, you do this in your sleep,
I remember
bro.
I remember when we were like, Trent and I were just chatting back and forth on Discord, and I was like, I sent him the idea for it, and then like 10 minutes later, he came back with the logo. I was like, oh, that was easy.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. I was just like, oh, that was quick.
Yeah.
Mint. So you changed artist recently. Who is the new artist? Because we are aware of the old artists, but we don't want to discredit them for any reason. They release art at their own rate for their own reasons. But who is the new artist you have for AI Dragonfly?
Yeah, no, just on that note, I don't want to discredit Zara at all. I mean, he does phenomenal work. I mean, his artwork is absolutely amazing. It's just that, you know, when you're trying to set like a schedule and there's like no communication, it's a little bit difficult to, you know, stick to a schedule and whatnot. So, I just basically talked to my friend Todd, who writes at the Outer Haven with me, and he's like, hey, I got this artist who actually does comics for me, and he can pretty much chameleon his style to anything you want. So check him out. His name's Alex. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I basically sent him an email, and I'm like, hey, are you interested in possibly doing a long-term project drawing anime characters for a light novel series? He's like, yeah, man, just like send me an example and let's see what I can do. It's like, all right, here's Amber. I don't care what the pose is or anything like that. Just draw her. Like, I don't care. So like within 4 hours, I get the sketch, the inked drawing, and the full color. And I'm just like, wait a minute, you did that in 4 hours. And it looked almost identical to what Zara did. And the coloring was a little bit off, and I expected it to be, because no two artists are really the same. But like, as he's gone on in the series with different volumes, like, he's really matching the way Zara used to do coloring, and you can barely tell a difference these days. And I'm just like blown away. And
you're hired.
I know, right?
Immediately
Yeah, that first picture of Amber, I was like, yeah, dude, when can you start? He's like, I can start right away. Like, well, here's my commission sheet. And he did like
he
three.
Fucking gave him a commission sheet. Wow. He had a lot going. Whoa,
pretty much.
Shit.
Yeah, I had him start working on volume 6. And then when he did the first 3 pieces in 3 days, I'm like, okay, maybe I can ask him to stop volume 6 and finish volume 5 for me, because I had Zara working on one piece, and it was about 27 days into it, and I still only had the sketch, and I haven't heard from him like at all. So I'm like, I'll just let Zara be. Maybe he's got something going on. I don't know. I'll let him finish that piece, and I'll see if Alex wants to take care of the rest. So he's like, sure. So he does the last 3 pieces, and then he finishes volume 6. So that's a total of, I want to say it was like 13 pieces within a 14-day period. And by the time he finished that, Zara had finished the one piece that I gave him a month ago. So
fucking this guy
wild.
Smashing out a commission a day. Jesus Christ. That is something. That is some dedication. And considering he's also a writer for the Outer Haven, but also an artist for like comics and that, like, he must have his life set. Like, oh, fucking write and draw. Like, I got my own. He's in control of everything. He's able to do all that. That's fucking incredible, actually. Shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check him out myself. Fuck.
Yeah, because of that, I was able to go from releasing books every 6 months to basically every 2 months now. And the funny thing is when Alex started, I had volume 8 in, I believe it was either first or second draft. And once volume 6 was done in like the matter of 2 weeks, I was like, well, here, have volume 7, since I had the commissions already ready for that. And lo and behold, like 2 weeks later, those are done. So now I'm like, well, shit, I gotta like get my ass in gear and get volume 8 edited to get those commissions done. So I did that, gave it to him again. Another 2 weeks later, those are done. So I went from being 3 volumes ahead to now having him caught up to me, and now I feel like I'm behind again. So, like right now, I got volume 9 in second draft with the commissions basically already done, but I'm not going to give it to him until like April, because I'm at a point now where I am set for book releases all the way through June of this year. So I have like 4 months of book releases sitting here just waiting to go. So now I can actually pace myself to the point where, all right, now I can write this, and then I can take my time editing and get the art the way I want it to, and not have to worry about rushing, because I can basically work on a book every 2 months. But I'm like, nah, I'm just going to go for it and finish the series by the end of March.
Fucking
So
hell.
how many total? Like, how many volumes total are there going to be?
There's going to be 12 volumes total. So right before I actually came on to do this podcast, I was about halfway through the final chapter of volume 10. So I basically have 14 chapters total left to write for 11 and 12, and then the series, at least the main story, will be finished.
What other? Do you have any other like projects or books or series in the works at the minute, or you got any ideas that you're happy to share? Because I honestly, on my Google Docs, I have a page with about 12 different story ideas. It's just executing them is a bit. Is like I'm just like, how do I go about this? Like, because I'm trying to focus on the Protector, so it's like, I could do multiple things at once, but I'm a fucking moron. I can't manage to pull that off. So. Yeah, what, do you have anything else in the work? Because I remember you said you had the Final Hope.
Yeah, Final Hope was basically just a 2-volume series. That started out as just a writing project for myself, and I used to do a lot of stuff like short stories and poetry and song lyrics and all that fun stuff. And back in high school, I decided to handwrite a book during summer school for some dumb, stupid reasons about moving from Massachusetts to Florida and all my credits not transferring, so I had to go to summer school when I should have actually graduated after midterms, but that's, long, stupid story about switching states. It's dumb.
I don't know shit about American schools, so I think only Gus would understand.
Neither do we.
I don't even know.
Here, so.
I don't even know much about like the transferring of state, because I went to an in-state school. Because I don't know if you know this, Josh, but I'm a student at Virginia Tech. So I'm not too far from like what, 10-hour drive from Florida. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, 10-hour drive from Florida and about another 10 hours for me, not 10 hours, but to get down to my area, because I'm kind of like in South Florida, so you kind of got to go through halfway.
Yeah, because it's like an extra few hours, because we've driven from home to like Miami. That's a long drive.
Meet up, you complete strangers. Do it. Meet up over the internet.
I would say if you abide by the speed laws, which who does that? It's about 90 minutes from here to Miami from my house.
Oh, nice. Okay. Right. Yeah, that's not too bad. Like Florida, it's like one of those states where it's like it is actually way bigger than it seems like it is, just because it's like in the weird corner. Like, just it's literally the dick of the country. It's just like
it is like Homer Simpson put it best, like that's America's way.
It literally
Bloody
is.
hell.
It's right in the right position. It's right in the right position too. In the right location.
Yeah, all droopy and sad, just like the residents here.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
All the retired old people.
Shit.
Hey, you go outside, it's like the sweet aroma of impending death wherever you go.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Oh my god. So many fucking
like
old ass people.
Wow.
Florida's great.
Phenomenal.
And really hot.
So yeah, books, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Books.
You mentioned when we tried to record this previously about an idea you had for a story that literally is just turning yourself into a cute anime girl by just writing down all that your experiences you had with writing, like all your struggles and all that in the past, and turning that into its own story of an author struggling with those problems. Are you thinking you're actually going to go ahead with that after we talked about it 2 days ago?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a lock that it's going to be in my next series after AR is done. But before I actually finish AR, there is actually going to be like a little bit of a side series that I call AR Dragonfly Origins. So what I wanted to do was create a 5-volume miniseries that basically goes into the 5 main characters and completely details their entire backstory. So you're going to see like Amber, Kaito, Sebastian, Lin, and Takumi, all as children, and basically going through life, growing up, and then their stories end when they are introduced into the main series. So you basically get that full connection between what happened before they were introduced up into when they debuted. So I'm actually not calling these volumes, I'm calling them episodes. Like the first one will be called AR Dragonfly Origins Episode Amber. And unlike the main series, it's not going to have a 7-chapter rule. It's basically going to be written until the story is told. I mean, it could have 8 chapters, it could have 4, it could have maybe a single chapter. I don't know. It's going to be as long as it takes to get the full story told, and then it's just going to end. So
nice.
I'd look to write those probably later this year and have them out, all 5 of them within the first 5 months of 2021 if everything goes, according to plan. And then I plan on taking a little bit of a break to kind of be like, hey, I just wrote 17 books in the span of like 2 years. I'm going to take a little bit of a breather, and then I'm going to start on my next series, which, as you said, is kind of like an autobiography, but it's not. It's like taking my journey through creating light novels and just being a writer and applying it to like a slice of life anime setting. And the name of the book is going to be called From Ash, and it's going to be about this girl named Ash Sawyer. And she starts off just like I did, just writing little pieces of, story and just getting into it, getting encouragement from her teachers, from her college professors, and all this other fun stuff, and deciding to basically pursue a career in writing. But as you know, you just don't jump into it, quit your day job, and be like, I'm a writer now, I'm going to make millions. It doesn't work like that.
Oh, no.
So it's going to be her story of like struggling through her 8-to-5 job and, the successes and failures of different writing contests, and maybe getting like some online criticism when she posts some stuff online for, people to read and all that other good stuff. And through that journey, it's going to be more than just, her life as, becoming a writer, because that's kind of like a one-dimensional thing, and books shouldn't be one-dimensional. They should have like many layers to it. So I'm introducing the other main character, whose name is Renji Keita, and it's her roommate as well as her childhood friend. And Renji's kind of like what they call in Japan like a NEET, not employment
fucking
education.
NEET?
Yep. Freeloader.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But she can't get rid of him. Like, as much as he freeloads and doesn't contribute to anything, she doesn't feel like she can get rid of him because of their backstory, which, I'm not going to spoil or anything, but it's going to tug at your heartstrings, hopefully, when you find out the reason why she can't really get rid of him. There's also a love interest there between the two of them that they just can't really come to say, but they eventually will. And I don't mind spoiling that because unlike AR Dragonfly, where the romance is basically the centerpiece, this is just kind of like a background layer. It's not really, the main focus of the story. It's just something that happens naturally and becomes part of the series on its own. And when it happens, you're just like, okay, cool. They finally got it out of their systems and they're together, and now Ash can move forward, type of thing. So that's kind of what it's a little bit of a subtle thing. But Renji basically can cook. He's an awesome cook, but he doesn't really say much to Ash. So whenever, like in passing, he's just like one-word answers, short answers. But the dynamic to his character is he's going to have a lot of inner monologue. So you're going to get to see a completely opposite side of him, a completely different character that is kind of like adorable and stuff like that, the way he thinks. But but the way he acts is completely like opposite. He seems very cold, very callous, very uncaring when he talks, but on the inside, he's just happy to be with Ash and for, everything that he does for her. So you get to see that side of him, and it's going to build a lot of frustration, I hope, to where you just want to say like, dude, just say something to her, you just want to get that feeling. Exactly. It's like, just get to the bedroom, close the door, and
damn it.
fucking... Yeah, exactly.
For some reason, when you said you hear inner monologue, for some reason I thought the complete opposite. I thought like, oh, he's outwardly shy, and then internally he thinks, fucking bitch, just really condescending inside his head. But if it's the opposite, where outside he's cold and inside he's warm, all right, yeah, no, that's also very good. I want to see that. That would be mint.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah, so there's that dynamic to it too. So there's going to be the whole, Renji aspect, the job aspect, the writing contest aspect. Later on, she's going to get an editor, so she's going to, deal with that and learning how
go through two artists.
Yeah, probably go through a couple artists. That might happen. So it's going to be a big journey. And the thing is, what you mentioned before about writing and stuff, it's that a lot of the content that's going to come in this story is going to be a lot of the stuff that I wrote when I was just starting out. So in that sense, like this book can literally have like infinite content. So whether it's like a short story I wrote before, or maybe it was an idea for a light novel that I just couldn't bring to fruition, I can have her write that. And I even came with the idea for like bonus chapters in the back of the book where like some of the bonus chapters would be like some of the writings that she was trying to do. And like maybe I can write like a full chapter of a light novel that never came to fruition and just put that in there. And it'd be like, notes from Ash or something like that. I don't even have like an official title for that, but just like an idea. So with that, I can actually like express my creativity on multiple levels, and I can actually try my hand at different ideas and different genres, all while just fitting it into this one series. And you never know, maybe the series Actor from Ash, if I keep writing, might be one of those ideas that I think of and I just take off with it. So it's kind of like a sandbox for me as well as a novel.
Nice.
That is.
I was literally just thinking, if you ever like wrote any ideas down on some paper or whatever, you could probably like scan it and put it in the back of the book, like Ash's ideas, and it's just all your ideas. Or just like, I don't know, like if you ever just wrote down a few words on some paper, just fucking slap it in there, like actually make it look really authentic. Like she's going through a lot. There's a lot going through her head. She's got heaps of things going on. It's just like random notes blasted throughout the entire thing. Like, what if I did this? It's just like, I can see that kicking off very well, considering, like you said, you have infinite content. You just got all these stories, and it's just like, let's just throw them all together and make a fucking awesome slice of life out of it. I mean,
yeah, plus I can even make fun of myself too. It's like, what if I come up with a story about this gamer girl with social anxiety and meets her rival in real life, and be like, no, that's been done already. Something like that.
Fuck yes, that sounds epic. So speaking of like anime and that, you mentioned putting it in an anime setting. What are your favorite anime and manga? If you got favorite anime and manga, I'm assuming you do.
Oh yeah. 2 through 5 on my list isn't in any particular order because it keeps shuffling. As I watch more stuff, I like to compare it to like some of the older stuff that I've seen and just go, is it really better than something I've watched like 10, 15 years ago? So those, 4 spots keep rotating, but number 1 so far is, and looks to always will be, Steins Gate. I love that series so much. I think it's probably one of the most comprehensive like explanations of time travel, in the fact that you're not actually jumping to different points in time. You're actually shifting between different timelines, and you're going to a timeline where the changes you make are already in effect. So it's really cool in that concept, and that actually was the inspiration for my first book series, Final Hope, because I wanted to do like a sci-fi time travel, like murder mystery type thing. And it was just so inspirational until January of 2016 happened, and another anime came out by the name of Erased. And
woo!
Yeah, and I started watching this, and of course I'm an anime watcher first, manga reader second, and I saw Erased, and I'm just like, oh, look, a guy that goes back in time and tries to solve a mystery of a murder. It's my book, except they're doing it better.
Damn it!
And truth be told, it made me stop writing for 8 months. I started Final Hope in November 2015, and I didn't pick it up until like August or September 2016 because I was afraid that if I published this that people would say I was ripping off the source material from Kei Sanbei. And I'm just like, no, honestly, I didn't know this was a thing. But I got some encouragement from my friends, and they're just like, dude, just do it. Like, so much stuff is a copy of other things in the world. Like, who cares? Just finish it. And in the end, Final Hope did end up being different than Erased. But I did actually get a review from Carrie Mills, who is the author of Beyond the Dome, a blue collar hero. She reviewed it. Yeah. And one of the comments on the review was, "Yo, this looks just like Erase." I'm like, "Oh shit!"
No,
nice.
Don't say that. No, but hey, like the only time you want to hear that it sounds like it looks like Erase is if they're saying, "Oh, this is better than Erase." That's the only time you want to hear a comparison. But
yeah, pretty much.
I get that because nowadays it's really hard to make something truly original. Especially with writing, because it's all been done before, in one way or another. It's all been done before. It's just trying to add your own unique spin to it that makes it unique. And it's quite difficult to do that nowadays. But, yeah. So, what else you got, apart from Steins Gate and Erase? Well, is Erase one of your favorites, you would say? Or is it just because you're comparing it to the Final Hope?
It is in my top 10, just not my top 5. It's kind of like down around 8 or 9. I like it, but I just kind of like keep it down there for, personal reasons. Like, you don't deserve to be in my top 5 after what you did to me.
You made him stop running for 8 months, Erased. God
Pretty
damn
much.
it.
But I am happy to say that I do own the entire manga series, so I've come to accept it in my life. So, but
a mutual agreement.
2 through 5, like I said, keep shifting, but right now I would say The Gray Man is number 2. That was my favorite anime before I actually saw Steins Gate, and it took shonen anime to like a different type of level. I mean, you still had, your Black Order versus the Millennium Earl and the Noah clan and stuff like that. You still had that faction war, and you still had your shonen powers and all that stuff, but they mixed in religion. And even though I'm not really a religious guy, I still know some religion, and they kind of like took liberties with it and twisted it into like their own image. And it was actually really cool the way they did it, and I just really loved the way they presented the show. So that one's still number 2. Hajime no Ippo is number 3 right now, and my friend Hector got me into this one, and it's like, dude, you need to check out this anime. And I'm like, well, what's it about? It's like, it's about boxing. I'm like, I don't like boxing. And he's like, dude, trust me, it doesn't matter if you like boxing or not, you're going to love this anime. And sure enough, the thing was absolutely amazing. Like, if you want to see the most anime fights ever without actually going superpowers, like, this is it. Like when you have Takamura versus King in, like, I think it's the season finale of the second season, which was New Challenger. It's like, you see the speed lines, you see, like, the exaggeration of the punches, and you see, like, the impact, like when they hit the mat and stuff like that, and all the graphics they do for that. And it's like, this is anime as shit, but my God, it's got me interested in boxing. So I actually looked up a couple boxing matches on YouTube, but I was bored out of my mind. Like, this is nothing like Hajime no Ippo.
Anime
God damn it.
is real.
I can't believe this isn't like this anime. What a fucking ripoff. God damn it.
Dude, the closest we'll ever get with like men fighting each other that looks like anime is probably wrestling.
Probably, yeah.
They're almost identical.
Okay, I just watched. Okay,
lines.
completely unrelated, but I just watched the kind of related, but I just watched the tag team match from Revolution last night. I kind of felt like I was watching an anime when I was watching that match.
Woo! That was mint.
That was an incredible tag team match. Because I like the shit they were doing. It kind of it didn't seem like it was real. So I was like, is this an anime? And it just made me want a wrestling anime. Like, imagine a pro wrestling anime.
They've got wrestling anime. They've got pro wrestling anime out there.
Are they good?
Yeah, Baki the Grappler, I think, is one of them. If you want to check that out.
Interesting.
Supposedly it's pretty good. I've never seen it, though.
Isn't Tiger Mask one as well, or is that something else?
Tiger Mask, I believe so. I can't remember if Tiger Mask was created in Japan after the anime, or if they created the character in New Japan and then did the anime. I'm not sure which happened first, but I definitely know it's an anime.
I think it was character then anime, because I remember I heard there was cameos from New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers in it, like other New Japan wrestlers in it. Like, so I think it was character then anime, as far as I'm aware. But I might be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. But no, that's awesome. And So we also touched on this in the previous recording that no one heard about, working for Outer Haven. And I asked what you did there, and I was quite shocked by the answer. So, tell us again. What exactly do you do at outerhaven.net?
I slave away at a computer, but essentially I'm the managing editor of anime and manga over there. So I started off as just a columnist about 5 years ago, and I did a column over there called the Anime Pulse, which I don't know if you're following my Twitter or how long you've been following it, but my original @tag was the Anime Pulse because I had made it after column to help promote it. And after a while, I basically started getting the news stories, and then when they saw I was trustworthy, after like a year or two, I think it was, they were like, hey, would you like to become our managing editor for anime and manga? I'm like, sure. And after that, another managing editor by the name of Liz, who is no longer there, she actually introduced me to a guy named Eric over at Viz Media, and all of a sudden, I'm starting to get like 3 copies of manga to review, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty nice. And then all of a sudden, Yen Press starts sending me stuff, and then One Piece Books, and then Vic's Lab, and then 11 Arts Anime Studios starts sending me like advanced copies of movies that are coming out in the United States, and then Crunchyroll comes on board, then Funimation. And I'm like,
shit.
I'm like, oh my god, like,
Rake
what the hell did I
in the
do?
manga, baby. Come on.
That's honestly, that sounds like the most ideal situation for any anime and manga fan to be in, and you fucking made it. So that's pretty incredible.
It's crazy. Like, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but it's like before I started, I had one bookcase, and it only had one shelf of manga on it in that bookcase, and it wasn't even double faced. And since I have been there and started doing manga reviews, I now have about 11 shelves on my bookcases, double faced with manga, about 2 or 3 boxes filled with completed series, and 2 cabinets full of it.
Good God.
It's insane.
Fucking hell.
It's like I'm running out of room just to put manga. So it's crazy. And, obviously I'm very, very thankful for them for sending it to me, but it's fun though, because I get to sit here on the weekends and read some volumes and then pump out some reviews and call it a day. And they're like, okay, cool. And sometimes like the guy at Viz Media, he'll send me like some stuff I might be interested in, and sometimes he goofs up and sends me like volume 6 in the middle of a series that I've never heard of before. And I'm like, I can't review this. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then I told him about that, and he's just like, oh, if you get anything that you don't want, just throw it away. I'm like, oh. It's so nice to know that they could just like toss crap away like that.
Yeah.
Dude. Fuck. That's mental. That is so mental.
I could never do that.
My God.
I could never
throw it away.
Yeah, I haven't actually thrown away a single volume. Those are the 3 boxes I was alluding to. So I have like 3, I would say probably like 18 by 12-inch boxes in my room, just filled with like random stuff he sent me that I just couldn't cover, because like, how can you cover like a volume 10 in a series when that's like the first volume you've seen of it, Yeah. It doesn't work like that.
Definitely could not
fair.
give it a fair review if you've only seen just volume 10.
Dude, volume 10 starts off and I'm confused. So
I'm lost.
Help me. No, that's awesome. Like, honestly, like, for anyone who's a fan of anime and manga, like that would be the most ideal job. And you got it, but you said it's only part-time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part-time and voluntary. I basically do it on nights and weekends, and then in my other free time, I basically do the author thing, all while juggling a normal 8 to 5 job Monday through Friday. So, yeah, pretty much I'm working, quote unquote, 3 jobs, even though I don't actually really get paid for 2 of them.
Yeah, the variable pay for 2 of them.
Yeah, one of them I get paid in manga, the other one I get paid in book sale royalties, which, well, let's just say I could probably buy like a stick of gum a month or something like that.
The other one I get paid in attention for my work.
Pretty much.
That's incredible. Shit.
I get paid in creative satisfaction. Oh!
Exactly.
Slam your dick on the table.
That's the life of a self-published author or musician. It's all just fucking self-gratification.
You better fucking believe
I did this thing. People enjoy this thing. Ooh. Man.
Well, it is, because like people are just like, well, writing is so hard. And, it's actually true for some people because, not a lot of people can like visualize something in their head and put it to paper. And some people can. And it's like no different than anybody else. And, just because I can write, I don't think I'm more special than someone else, because other people know how to sing and I can, but not very well. Some people can play musical instruments. I can't. Some people can draw. I can't, I mean, everyone has different talents and such, and writing is just the one thing that comes naturally to me. And so when I say it's hard, to me it's easy, and I love to write. I've been writing my whole life, so it's just something I can crank out, pretty quickly. But the funny thing is, it's like the marketing side of it. When you're self-publisher, the marketing side is just so difficult because you're constantly like swimming upstream, and like nobody's heard of you. Nobody wants to like take a chance. I mean, at some point, I even had like my books, I think the ebooks were like free, and I got like 8 hits off of it. I'm like, really? They're free. Like the only thing that's going to cost you is like a click,
Yeah.
I couldn't even give my books away. It's crazy. And, you try to make, press releases and send them out to people like Anime News Network and Crunchyroll, and they just look at you and they're like, yeah, I don't want to post this. And Anime News Network's
who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, like Anime News Network's like the most shocking one to me, because they post like 90% of the stuff on their site is like shit no one cares about. So I figured my post had been a shoo-in,
Yeah.
But apparently, nothing came of it. So it's really difficult, and there's not a lot of market in America for original English light novels. And if there is, it's in the anime community, which is still growing. But at the same time, you go to forums and you go to other communities online, and the thing that they say is that OELNs are not real light novels because they never came from Japan, and they don't even think twice about giving you a chance because they think all these people in America are just wannabe weeaboos who are writing their own stories that probably aren't even good. That's the whole notion and stigma around it. And of all the books that I've read, that's not even true. I mean, I will put, some of the books that I've read up against series like Sword Art Online or, regular Magic High School or any other light novel. I mean, they're just as good, but no one wants to give them a chance. And that's where the big marketing thing for us independent authors is. That's the roadblock,
It's not even just that, because you were saying like there's no market in America for original English light novels. There's no market anywhere in the world for original English light novels. It's just a non-heard of like concept. People don't realize that it's actually a thing. That's why I didn't know if I should market my book as a light novel or novella. So I marketed it as a novella because it was a bit smaller than a regular light novel. It's almost like people don't know, like, you're right though. People hear the words light novel and they think, oh, it's Japanese. And then they say, no, original English light novel. And they're just like, that's not a thing. Bitch, it's a thing. But yeah, I entirely get what you're saying. Marketing nowadays for anything self-promoted or self-made is incredibly difficult, especially when it comes to something like writing, because people have such short attention spans, they don't want to fucking read a book. So it is very difficult. I do get what you're saying.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people have actually commented, says, dude, if you have an audiobook version of it, I'll listen to it, but I just can't read because I hate reading. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's something to think about, but at the same time, like, dude, culture yourself,
Yeah.
Speaking of.
It is. Yeah, it is. Audiobooks are definitely like one of those things that, people will just, because it's like, if you have a long car ride, it's so easy to put on like an audiobook and just listen to it instead of having to go out of your way to read it. Like, that's just how like society is nowadays. Our attention span is just minimal to none. So
this episode of the FireStorm podcast was sponsored by Audible.
I wish.
Oh my god, Audible. But no, that's bullshit. But speaking of audiobooks, just want to quickly mention that Josh is a featured character. Shameless self-promotion. Yeah. Josh is a character in the upcoming audiobook I'm releasing for Protective Volume 1. He plays Dark Lord Lucifer.
Dude, do the voice.
I thought it was Afrastor.
No, Azdaroth. Azdaroth, that's what you are.
Astaroth, yeah.
Dark Lord Azdaroth, that's you. Lucifer is Imperfect Sound. Yeah, Mike. Nike. But yeah, nah. So cheers for helping me out with that. You did a fucking phenomenal job at it. I will be completely honest.
Do the voice.
Oh, put me on a spot. All right. Oh, come now, Lucifer. Is that the best you've got? You're getting on my last nerve.
Beautiful.
Oh, shit.
We love that.
Dude, chills. Chills down my spine. And I told you the story last time, but I feel like telling it again how Gus has to bully himself.
I still think it's hilarious. Dude, I could probably do
It never gets...
I could probably do the voice. Hold on. Oh, wait, tell the story first.
Oh, shit. For those that don't know, like, I've got a few voice actors in to do the audiobook, and I've got a few friends to help me out as well. I asked Josh if he wanted to be a part of it. He sent me a few example clips of what he does, and it was really good. So I'll ask you about if you've voice acted before, just after the story. But yeah, so Gus helped me out. He was the character Nirav, shy teenage boy, and I thought, yeah, Gus can make his voice a bit higher pitched. Yeah, it kind of works out. And then I didn't know there's a bully named Barrett who gets involved in the story, and I didn't know who to cast for him. So I just chatted to Gus. Was like, do you know anyone that can make like a gruff, angry voice?
Yeah, I think you were like venting to me on Snapchat or something. You're like, God damn it, I can't find anyone to do this bully character.
And then you just sent me a clip of you going,
just
fucking angry. And I'm just like, all right, if you want to do it, sure. So, yeah, only you and Imperfect Sound, Mike, actually do two characters apiece. Well, I do as well. Yeah. But then I didn't realize until I was reading the scripts that Barrett bullies Nirav partway through the story. So we've accidentally made Gus bully himself in two different voices. So
it's like
that's just incredible.
It's like hold on. I wonder if I could. I'm trying to remember the lines, but it was something like, listen, you're not supposed to, like, it's obvious she doesn't like that. You should step away from her now. And then Barrett goes, what'd you fucking say, punk? Or some shit like that.
Without the F word. Say something, punk.
You fucking say something like punk. That was...
I just want Barrett to kick down a door like, you fucking what, mate? Just fucking get down. Just get so
you
angry.
Fucking what, mate?
Don't go. Okay, maybe that's my fault.
I can't. Americans don't say that.
I know that's my fault because I'm fucking fuck off, cunt. Nah, but
holy cock, fuck off.
Anyway, sorry, that's gone off the rail, but that story is just too good not to tell.
It's fantastic.
But yeah, considering. You sent me a few different examples of things you've been in before with different voices, Josh. So, have you actually done a bit of voice acting before, or like did you just give it a shot and it worked out really well?
Not officially. I did like to kind of like mimic some of my favorite characters from like video games and such, mainly World of Warcraft since I played that for a good chunk of my life. But yeah, I never really did anything official. Like your audiobook version of The Protector was like the first thing I've actually done like officially as voice acting.
Well, dude, it's already going up on my YouTube channel. I don't know how official it's gonna be, but it's still
more
pretty
official than making voices
in
front of your computer. That's what I do most of the time.
See, that's the thing. That's the reason why. Like, I wanted to always make this audiobook because I'm taking the Protector Volume 1 down from stores so I can replace it with the novel version without any like confusion. But just to have the memory of like, okay, this is what it once was. I wanted to do the audiobook. But I can't sit here making different voices for all the characters, so I decided to take it to the next level and make it voice acted because I take things way over the top. But no, it's incredible. Like, you just fucking nailed it immediately. As soon as I heard that the voice you had for Azeroth, I was just like, oh damn, that will work tremendously.
That's the one.
And you were like the one of two people that said multiple versions of the same lines, and I'm like, dude, thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, it's like, I knew I probably wouldn't get it right on the first time, so I did like multiple variations and like, here, just pick what you think sounds good, you know?
It was mint. All right, from moving away from anime and manga and voice acting and whatnot, you are also a very big fan of wrestling, we've come to learn.
Yeah, I do enjoy some men in stretchy pants, I will say that.
Oh, yeah!
That's great.
Let's go!
Yes.
We love shirtless men fighting
like,
each other.
It's like anime, but in real life. Oh my gosh. But,
I love anime.
When did you start watching wrestling?
It was about 1997, and it was when my friend Roger was like really into WCW and back then WWF, and he just wouldn't shut up about it at school. And you know, I was like one of those people. Was like, yeah, right, whatever, dude. You like that fake shit? Like, whatever. You're freaking gay.
Fucking
whatever.
loser. Yeah, fucking gay.
Fucking gay.
And then he just like would stop talking about us. I'm like, all right, so maybe I'll check it out. So I flipped on to TNT and I saw WCW Monday Nitro, and I'm just sitting here like, yeah, this is fake as hell. I know it's fake. Blah blah blah. Oh look, that looks hella fake. And you know, the more I thought about that, the more I started to forget it was fake. It was drawing me in. And by the time Monday Nitro was over, I was like, you know, I kind of like this. Maybe I'm gay too. Who knows?
Hey.
It's just like, damn, them colorful stretchy pants are so appealing.
Definitely not their rippling muscles.
Right. all greased up in baby oil. Oh my god.
Definitely not turned on. I'm not turned on.
No.
But the funny thing is, at the time, like Hulk Hogan was in WCW, and I always knew he was in WWF, so I got confused. You know, not being into wrestling, I thought that WCW was WWF because Hulk Hogan was in there. But I also remembered him being in like red and yellow attire, and I saw him like in black and white with like a spray tan, like a painted on beard. I'm like, is that really Hulk Hogan? Like, what the hell's going on? And I didn't realize that it was WCW and he was in the NWO at that time and stuff. And then I actually found the WWF, and I saw like their product, and I'm like, oh. And of course, you know, I started doing like the stupid fantasy book, like, oh my god, what if we got to see Austin versus Goldberg at some point? You know, you know, I was like that person, like everybody else. You know, you see two bald guys wearing like the same black trunks, like, hey, that would be a good match together. You wouldn't be able to tell who the hell was who, but it'd be a good match. But yeah, the more I got into it, the more internet became a thing. And the more I found out about Santa Claus when it came to pro wrestling, that, you know, everything was, you know, scripted and choreographed, which I kind of knew anyway, but I didn't really know, like, the inner workings, like, what professional wrestling really was. Like, you know, I didn't know there was actual writers writing promos. I thought wrestlers just came out and said whatever they wanted to, you know, and I got to see, like, the quote-unquote smart side of pro wrestling. And honestly, it didn't actually scare me away when I found that out. It allowed me to want to know more about professional wrestling as a whole. And then I started to look at it from more than just, you know, a show. I started looking at it like as an art form. And it's like, it's no different than going to see like a live play or an action movie. You're not going to go to a movie and see Arnold Schwarzenegger dive off of a bridge with 1,000 explosions going off in the background and say, holy shit, that's fake as hell. You know, you're not going to say that. You're just going to sit there and be entertained by it. And when you think about wrestling in that sense, like a live action movie that's just done on the spot, you know, it becomes really, really enjoyable. And I just got really sucked into the art form, and, you know, it branched out from there. I started watching ECW, and then in the early 2000s, I discovered NWA TNA, then Ring of Honor, and then I went into New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Japan, DDT, Noah, all that other stuff. Then I found out about, you know, ROH's sister promotion, Shimmer, as well as Full Impact Pro. Then I saw the Joshi Warriors over there in Stardom, and, you know, it spiraled out. And of course, today we've got, you know, WWE with their sub-brand NXT, and of course they have All Elite Wrestling now, which is just absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, I just latch onto it. It's just a big part of my life that I just don't get tired of. But there was a little bit of a dark period where I almost gave up on wrestling because WWE was pretty much the only company in town, unless you want to count Impact, but that's like a train wreck in and of itself with the company history they've gone through.
Yeah.
But it's like you're force-fed this sports entertainment style of wrestling, and it wasn't clicking. And I think a lot of the reason for that is because when you're a kid, you look up to people like, The Undertaker and the Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy and Roddy Piper and the Ultimate Warrior, and you see these people as larger-than-life superheroes, and when you're 5 or 6 or 7 years old, you latch onto that. It's like a marvelous thing, but the WWE hasn't really strayed away from that formula. They have gone edgy with the Attitude Era, but they've since scaled it back and gone back PG. So when we're sitting here in our older years and we're no longer kids, we have a more mature taste and a more mature, lifestyle, and the WWE is still going after that family-friendly stuff. So while we don't like the fact that Roman Reigns is being shoved down our throats and all that stuff, you got to think that, little Johnny in the front row that's 5 years old is probably looking at Roman Reigns as the next Hulk Hogan and thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. And WWE wrestlers have said it all the time. Their job is to put smiles on people's faces. And if they do that, then they've done their jobs. And that's pretty much been the mentality of Vince McMahon since, the days where he took over from his father. And we now talk about stuff like NXT and AEW because they don't offer that. They offer a more mature product for the people who have grown up and moved on from the sports entertainment genre. And because of that, we like the flippy stuff. We like the over-the-top, fast-paced action, the athleticism, and the appreciation of the art form. And a lot of, purists from that grew up in the 70s, cough, cough, Jim Cornette, who are saying, that stuff's killing the business. And like, no, it's not. It's not killing the business. It's creating a new dynamic for the people who have grown up and the people who are not like you who can't move past the 70s. That's what All Elite Wrestling, that's what NXT, that's what Japan's all about. It's that true alternative for the people who basically got too big for the WWE. I mean, that's just my opinion.
No, that's the actually honest factual. Thing, though. Like when you're younger, when you're younger and when you're a kid, like I knew a lot of kids that liked wrestling, like when we were kids, like because that's the thing. When you're younger, you're focusing on the characters and the stories and like that sort of thing because you're right, they're larger than life. The Undertakers and the John Cenas and all that, they're larger than life icons, so you're paying attention to them. And then when you get a bit older and grow out of that like idea of focusing on the characters, you actually start to appreciate the actual match and the wrestling itself. And that's where like a lot of companies have faltered because they're trying to make characters that appeal to a younger audience, and then all of us over here in our plus 20s are like, I don't care anymore. And then you see, like, it's a very rare occurrence when they can make a character that truly captivates everyone, and then they squish into Goldberg.
That was awfully fiendish of them to do that. Dad joke.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Bray Wyatt's character's dead.
Wyatt did they do that? I don't know. Why?
That was a bit of a stretch.
It hurts. It hurts. Everything hurts. But yeah, no. When you get older, you're right. You appreciate the wrestling more. So All Elite Wrestling and NXT have really just like stood out in that way. And even that's why I like to visit a bunch of indie promotions nowadays because like they have like at least the indie promotion I go to quite often in Adelaide, Wrestle Rampage. There's like it's all about the wrestling. There's one or two like gimmicky characters. Like literally one of the characters in Wrestle Rampage is called Corn Dog, and he just comes out with tomato sauce and mustard. And he's just like, what do you think you can do against... Like, whenever anyone challenges him to a match, he's like, what do you think you can do against me? He always just comes out with, I'm here to bring the sauce. And everyone cheers.
What the fuck?
It's really funny. But it's like... apart from that, it's all about the wrestling.
It's like...
That's
it's
what people are here to
It's like
watch.
Moxley when he came out with the hot dog cart, but actually good.
Oh, Corn Dog, he's alright as a wrestler. He is just a
because I remember laughing when I guess it was Dean Ambrose at the time. When he like had the hot dog cart. I just thought it was funny because he like pulled his jacket back and he had mustard and ketchup in his belt, and he just like took it out and just. I always thought that was just funny, but it's not like wrestling, you know. I mean, there's definitely really room for funny stuff like that, but it's like, for the most part, you just appreciate the actual sport a whole lot more.
Yeah. So, Josh, would you say you're in the AEW camp or the NXT camp? or both?
I want to say both, but I lean a little bit more towards AEW than NXT. NXT is great, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like their heart is into it, you know? And the weird thing is like NXT's always been that way. Even like when it was just on the network, you would watch like the weekly show and the booking looked just so disjointed. Like you would see like people you haven't seen in months just randomly show up on a show, and then they would disappear again, and then like the main storyline would
Kona Reeves.
Yeah, like Kona Reeves. And you would see that the main storyline get featured like every 2 weeks or something like that. It's like they book like 8 hours worth of wrestling and think it's all cohesive, and then they segment it into like 4 different shows, and it looks disjointed. And the weekly product is like that. Like, for example, like on NXT this week, they had Bronson Reed versus Killian Dane, and I'm like,
yeah,
why? I mean, I get that we got a good Haas fight out of the two of them, but what was the entire point of that match? And then like Damian Priest came out and basically like interfered in Dominik Dijakovic's match, which got not Corey Graves. What the hell's his name? Grimes? Corey Grimes? I want to say Corey Graves. They're almost similar. But Corey Grimes, he got his...
Cameron Grimes.
Trevor
Lee.
Yeah. Yeah, Cameron Grimes. And, you know, that's another thing is like, too, is sometimes they also book in a way where it's super obvious who's going to win. Like, for the match with Bianca Belair against Rhea Ripley, you know, you're like, well, Rhea's going to win because she's the one that's going to be going to WrestleMania to face Charlotte. There's no way that Bianca's going to win this match.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, Rhea does win. So it's kind of like, you know, tongue-in-cheek at times where it's painfully obvious, and other times it's nonsensical. But I'd be lying if I said the takeovers weren't incredible, though.
I was about to say the weekly shows are disjointed, but the takeovers are always phenomenal. They've always got something fucking sorted and packed for the takeovers, and they're just amazing every time.
Yeah, absolutely. But AEW, I think, is just on a week-to-week basis a more cohesive product. They actually keep their storylines fresh, and the nice thing about them is that they plant seeds and then capitalize on them later. And one of the ones I'm making a prediction on, and if you guys have watched Revolution, you know that they advertised for March 25th on Dynamite the Blood and Guts match, which is basically their version of War Games. They can't. Yeah,
War Games.
They can't say War Games because Vince owns that trademark, and so they're calling it Blood and Guts. But it's the same match. But if you think back to Cody's feud with Chris Jericho leading into Full Gear, and he cut that brand new era Hard Times promo, he told Chris Jericho that one day that the Elite and the Inner Circle would do battle and it would be a match beyond. I'm wondering, now that Chris Jericho just dropped the title to Jon Moxley, if the Blood and Guts match is going to be that match that they talked about. And then people will be like, oh yeah, I remember Cody said that a few months ago, you know? So I noticed they do that a couple of times, and you don't realize they're setting stuff up for the future. And then when it happens, you're like, oh shit, I remember that, you know? And it's good booking.
I recall something like before AEW, like when AEW was announced, and I hadn't started shows yet. I remember there was an interview or something. I may be completely wrong, or I may have misread something, but I swear it was something along the lines of Cody and like Tony Khan and all that. They always write for like 8 weeks ahead for weekly shows for long-term booking, just so they keep it consistent. I recall seeing something like that. Like they always plan really far ahead. And that's incredible to see. Like that's great to hear, rather than Vince McMahon fucking ripping up and changing the script 2 hours before a show starts. So, yeah, no, it's freaking incredible. And I'll be honest, like I haven't had the chance to watch a lot of AEW. I'm fucking don't have anywhere to watch it. Fight TV. I need to fucking get on that. And NXT. In all honesty, the only reason I've been watching NXT as of late is because I've been in like when Tommaso Ciampa and the NXT invaded after Survivor Series. I've started watching because of Tommaso Ciampa. I thought it was fucking great. And then the only other reason is Bronson Reed, because I watched his final match in Australia as Jonah Rock, and he did his farewell speech and all that afterwards. And then he showed up in NXT, and I've just been like, give my big thick boy a push. He's fucking he is incredible. Like he hasn't had to been able to showcase everything he can do, but fuck me, his final match, I think it was against Tommy Knight in Wrestle Rampage, was incredible. Need to search that guy out. Jonah Rock, Bronson Reed, phenomenal. But that's the only reason I'm paying attention to NXT nowadays. It is like really disjointed and like, what's the point? Like, it just gets frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like my friend Carl, who writes at the Outer Haven with me. He's actually from Australia, and he's actually a wrestler himself. He actually wrestled, I don't know if you know the promotion MCW, but he actually...
Yeah, Melbourne City Wrestling.
Yeah, he actually used to wrestle there, and I think he's actually going back to make a return to the ring, and I guess he worked there at one point with the guy who went to WWE to become Buddy Murphy. So he's like a big Buddy Murphy mark.
Mint.
That is epic.
That's awesome. There are a few other Adelaide promotions they've done like some training with, been going to just random like they got like training things out for the public just for people to go to and learn some of the basics, and if they're interested they can sign up for their academies. And I remember I've been to a few. I've had to take punches, kicks in the gut, and they're working me up to a DDT because I can fall on my back but not my front. So we're seeing how this goes. But there's heaps of underrated Australian wrestlers that I know of, at least. But that's alright. That's besides the point. But yeah, AEW and NXT, it's just an incredible story to watch, especially now that AEW are beating NXT in every demographic now. The latest shows, and AEW won in every demographic, and it's like, well, NXT, you're slowly dying. You need a boost or something here, guys. Come on.
Actually, I don't think them losing to AEW means they're dying at all. It just means they have less views.
Oh well, you know what I'm saying. Like,
but
they were always winning in one demographic. Now they're losing in all of them. That's telling. That's not good. They need to do something.
I think it's partly WWE's fault because they gave people the option to watch NXT on demand. Like, they moved it to USA, but they didn't take it off of the WWE network. And like, imagine if it was removed from the network altogether and the only place you could watch NXT was USA. I highly doubt that those ratings would be so skewed. I think they would be either a lot closer and they'd be flip-flopping victories every week. But when you can watch AEW Dynamite every Wednesday live and then go back Thursday night or whenever, you even save it for the weekend and watch NXT later and still get it in before the next show, like, what's the point of watching NXT live when you can basically watch both, you know? So I think WWE made a pretty big mistake with leaving it on the network. I know a lot of people would have been upset if they took it off, so I guess there was that thing to consider. But at the same time, if you really wanted to be true competition to AEW, you would have made that bold move and said, sorry, you can only watch NXT now on USA. TakeOver is fine. You can still watch those on the network just like any other WWE pay-per-view. But when it comes to the weekly stuff, you got to tune into USA, man. Otherwise, you're going to miss it.
Well, now that they're revamping the network, that might be a possibility. Because I don't know when that's meant to come out, but they're adding tiers and stuff to the network now. It's like a tiered system.
Something like that. I know Vince is like getting his old 70-year-old gears turning up in his head. I mean, who knows what that guy's going to crank out next?
Yeah, Jesus.
Masturbation.
I'm not excited to see it.
Yep.
Oh, God. Last wrestling question. Favorite wrestler and favorite match, or wrestlers and matches, if you got a few. But what are your favorite highlights?
Oh man, I've had a lot of them throughout the years, and it's kind of funny because I know we asked this question the first time we botched the recording, and it was still a tough question to answer then as it is now. But yeah, when I was growing up and I first got into wrestling, Raven was my absolute favorite wrestler. I loved the look of the character. I loved the entire psyche behind him. I was first introduced to him in WCW, and then I went back and started watching old stuff of him in ECW and his feud with Tommy Dreamer. I was like, oh my God, that thing was incredible. Especially that one scene that they actually put in the opening signature where he had like Raven like strapped to the side of a steel cage, and he just freaking waylays him with a chair and breaks like over his head, unprotected and everything. And I'm like, how the hell is he not dead? You know, it was just absolutely amazing to see that feud, and then what Raven became with the Flock in WCW, and then of course becoming a joke of a hardcore wrestler in WWE. It's like, why even bother?
Yeah.
But
and then turning up in the crowd in AEW and everyone thinking he's the Exalted One.
right. So there's that. Scott Hall was always one of my favorites. Still is to this day. I thought he was just an absolutely incredible talent who was never world champion but should have been. But today, you know, things changed, but I would say if I had to pick two right now in WWE, I think my favorite would be Adam Cole, because he reminds me of like the second coming of Shawn Michaels. And he has like so much potential to go on to become that new Mr. WrestleMania, you know, and just really show his stuff. I mean, he knows how to work the WWE style. He knows how to make it exciting, and he can cut a hell of a promo. So he's got all the tools and the look to pull it off.
He's incredibly charismatic. Like, just he has in-ring charisma and like talking charisma. Like he's so good, and he's incredible in the ring too. Like those matches against Gargano are beautiful.
Yeah, those matches, the first two were, believe it or not, the only 5-star rated matches in WWE for that year by Dave Meltzer. So that just tells
and
you
they were
something
both
how good
over
it was.
5 stars, weren't they? I think the first one was 5.5, and the second was 5.25. I think.
Probably, yeah. I don't remember the exact ratings. I just know that WWE can only claim fame to 2 5-star matches, and they were both Cole versus Gargano.
Yeah,
those guys tore the house down.
Yes, they did.
And
it was beautiful.
For AEW, I guess I'll go with the safe bet and say Kenny Omega, just because he is basically like a larger-than-life living art form with the way he moves in the ring, his work ethic. And it's funny because a lot of people who never watched him in Japan, who never saw this series with Kazuchika Okada, didn't really get the hype around him because he came into AEW, he lost a few matches, and he had a couple of decent matches against Pac, and they didn't really see what Kenny Omega was truly about. They didn't see that best bout machine that he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then all of a sudden, the Iron Man with Pac last week, and then that incredible tag match at Revolution.
Yes,
and people are like,
a great match.
Yeah, and they're finally like, oh, now I get it. Now I see the hype around Kenny Omega. And I'm like, yes, I even followed him when he wrestled in Canada and here in the Independents when he was more of a video game gimmick. He actually used to do a move called Flashman's Time Stopper from Mega Man. The guy would be running at him, he would throw out his arm and yell, "Stop!" And the guy would stop and he would just kick him in the head with an enziguri. It was absolutely hilarious. It was a great comedy spot.
Has he done that in New Japan? I feel like I've seen that before.
He did. I think when he was in DDT along with Kota Ibushi and he ended up wrestling like a 9-year-old girl. I think he did it there.
Oh, I forgot about
nice.
that. Oh, that was incredible. Oh, that was amazing. I forgot about it. And then the Young Bucks like super kick a child as well. Was that the same?
Might have been. I don't think I've ever seen that. I'll have to look that up.
Young Bucks super kick a small child.
Just yeet them into the front row like Keith Lee did to Adam Cole.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that would be beautiful. All right, phenomenal. Now, we tried to end it off, the last episode off, with some quick fire questions that Gus prepared. I don't know if Gus has prepared them
but
this
I can
time.
do a quick Google.
Let's get some quick fire questions up and we can all answer.
All right.
Starting with Josh.
Let's do some
And let's
Google.
Darude Sandstorm in the middle in the intermission.
Hey, what's that song?
Sandstorm by Darude.
Sandstorm by Darude. Here's some this or that questions. I don't know how many there are, but should be just kind of interesting. Okay, dogs or cats?
Cats.
Dogs.
Cats. Netflix or YouTube?
Fuck.
YouTube.
YouTube. Phone call or text?
Text.
Phone call.
Text, I think, but I'm that's tough. Toast or eggs?
Oh God. Really do like toast.
Yeah.
Really do like eggs.
Fuck.
Can I just say toast and eggs? No.
All of the
Eggs
above.
on toast.
I'll probably go with eggs.
All right.
Yeah, eggs.
I'm toast. Let's see. Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter.
Facebook.
Twitter. Ice cream or snow cone?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. This is easy, but mobile or console games?
Console. My God.
Yeah,
Console.
right. Console.
Get that Clash of Clans shit out of here. Fuck
Yeah, right.
Farmville. Screw that shit.
So for long trips, music or podcasts?
Oh God. I'll probably go with music.
For long trips, I do like podcasts on long trips because I can smash like 2 or 3 episodes out. So yeah, podcasts.
I do both. I make sure to squeeze in both.
Yeah, but that's not the answer we need here,
Music.
mate. Come on, there you go.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Cake.
Cake. Huge party or small gathering?
Small gathering.
Small gathering.
Small gathering.
Had a fucking mint small gathering 2 nights ago. It was awesome.
I remember hearing about that. Let's see. I was about to say it's football or basketball, but American football.
Oh.
Oh, American football.
I guess American football.
American football. Nice car or nice home interior?
I'm gonna go nice home interior.
Nice home interior.
Agreed. What's worse, laundry or dishes?
Dishes.
Honestly, in my house, they're both done by a machine, so they're equally painless and painful at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'll just flip a coin. Dishes. Why not?
Dishes. Fuck them.
Yeah, I'm dishes as well because we don't have a dishwasher. We'll hope to change that. Jogging or hiking?
Neither. Sitting at home and playing video games.
Epic.
I actually like hiking. I don't mind it.
I agree. I like hiking. Jogging, it takes too much energy. Let's see. Hamburgers or tacos?
Burgers.
Burgers.
Burgers. Tacos make me fucking shit my guts out.
Well, don't add so much Mexican spice to it. Fuck.
Shh. You trying to at Taco Bell right now?
Yeah.
Don't even try. Online shopping or shopping in a store?
Oh my God. Online shopping all the way. Screw interacting with people in the store.
I've started to become more attuned to online shopping because rather than go to a Kmart or Kohl's and trying to find what you're searching for and them not having it in stock, you can just find it online. And it's like, bro, it's all there.
I'm also online shopping because I bought 2 different things on Amazon with 1 click today.
Guys, we're killing the retail industry, but it's okay.
Good.
It's okay.
Get on the business.
Get on the business.
Damn it. Let's see. Cars or trucks?
Cars.
Cars. This is not a this or that, but favorite color?
Black.
Red.
Blue. More money or more free time?
Money, because money can buy free time.
Money, because I lack that.
I would say, it's hard. I have to agree though. Money can buy free time. Let's see.
I mean, if you have enough money, you can quit your job, and that basically buys all the free time in the world. So money all the way.
Exactly. Amusement park or beach day?
Neither. Sitting at home and playing video games.
Epic.
Wait, amusement park or beach day?
Yes. So would you rather spend the day at amusement park or at the beach?
I guess a beach. I hate sand, but I also hate slides. So,
all right,
beach.
I'm amusement park. Candy or popcorn for a movie?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
I take both, but I like popcorn.
That's not the question. Sorry.
Fuck you. All right, yeah, popcorn.
Oh, toilet paper, overroll or underroll?
What?
Do you put it over?
Yeah.
Like, do you have it the roll over so that you can pull it from the top, or do you have it
for the toilet roll? Oh,
Yes.
Oh, over.
Over.
Oh, over.
Oh, over's the only
Whoever
correct
does it
answer.
under needs to be shot. That's not right.
Exactly. That's called natural selection.
Wait, let me check. I gotta go. Over.
Waffles or pancakes?
Oh man, they're both good.
I know.
Because they're thicker and they hold more syrup, I'm going to go with waffles.
I'm also waffles.
I grew up with pancakes. I do like both, but pancakes.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke.
Fuck. Damn it. I like both. Pepsi.
Okay. Let's see. Blinds or curtain?
Fuck is the difference? Oh, wait, no, the curtain. Oh, yeah, I get it. Curtain.
God. Is it a room darkening curtain?
I guess.
I know it's specific.
It better be.
All right, if it's a room darkening curtain, I'll say curtain, otherwise blind.
I say blinds because I can adjust the level of sunlight I'm letting in. Train or plane? Dang, that rhymed.
Train.
Plan.
Plane, I think. It's tough, though.
It's probably because all my experiences with trains in Adelaide suck balls.
I'm thinking about taking a train to, like, Philadelphia or something over the summer.
The only other train I took was from, like, Paris to Venice or something like that, and it was fucking atrocious because I was in there with 5 other guys in a 4... it is only meant to hold 4 people, so I fucking hate trains.
Nice. Iced or hot coffee?
Iced.
Iced.
I don't drink coffee, but the only coffee I've ever had has been hot, so I'm gonna say hot. Meat or vegetables?
Meat. Oh my god, meat.
Yeah, meat.
Meat. Give me that meat.
Would you rather spend your savings on an international vacation or a new TV?
New TV.
International vacation. I'm gonna go to Japan in the height of the coronavirus.
Epic. Trent, we're both gonna be there. I would say international vacation too, but maybe a new TV if mine was broken.
I do need it. I do need
it. Depends on the situation. Coffee or tea?
Coffee or tea?
Yes.
Tea.
Coffee.
All the tea I've had has been terrible, so I'm gonna say coffee, even though coffee's also bad.
Same.
Even though they're both bad. TV or books?
Honestly, I'm gonna go with books.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. It
was not because I'm an author. It's not because I'm an author. It's because that I've really hated American television for like the past 20 years. It's like stuff that was funny back then isn't funny today. Like, I grew up on stuff like Married with Children and like early Simpsons. And now you see like a standard comedy and it's like the most brainless shit you've ever seen. And I just don't care anymore.
That's the same. That's the same here. Everything, even like all the game shows, all the comedies, they're also like corporate and clean and just really shit and not appealing at all. And yeah, I'm done with it. Yeah, books.
I agree that a lot of like cable television is fucking terrible, but when I think of like TV, I also think of like all the anime I watch. So if that is included, then TV, but if it's not and it's just cable television, then books. Because I just got finished with my season 2 of My Hero Academia, and I want to watch more, but I'm trying to hold myself back. Movie at home or movie at the theater?
At home.
Theater.
Home. Ocean or mountains?
Mountains.
Ooh.
Mountains for me. Ocean is too hot.
What?
What? I don't like being hot. Like all the beaches are really hot, like 90 plus Fahrenheit.
I like water, so ocean.
Horror or comedy movie?
Comedy.
City or countryside?
Countryside.
Console or PC gaming?
PC. Not Master Race, but still PC.
Yeah.
I don't know, just console.
I would say PC because of emulation potential. Card game or board game?
Board game.
You've activated my trap card, bitch. Yeah, no, actually, surprisingly, I've gotten out of card games recently, so board games because there's more versatility.
I would say board games as well. Dine-in or delivery?
Delivery.
Delivery!
I hate dressing
Bring me
up.
my shit! Yes, that's what we like.
I like going to a theater because it's dark and I can wear whatever the fuck I want. But then I hate actually.
Were you trying to
dining out.
justify your answer from like 8 questions ago?
No, because because I felt like it was a contradiction. I like dining in, but I also like going to the theater. So I mean, I like delivery, but I like going to the theater as well. So it's like a contradiction. But
Fair.
nah, I like both.
Okay. Let's see. Sweater or hoodie?
Hoodie.
Hoodie,
Hoodie as well. Book or ebook?
Book.
Book. Ninjas or pirates?
Ninjas all the way, man. Screw them pirates.
Ninjas.
I gotta say ninjas too. I like pirates because I like their the way they talk, but ninjas are so much cooler. And then TV shows or movies? I'm guessing that includes like anything episodic.
Yeah. Anime TV shows, but any other movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think
I should probably clarify. Anything anime, pretty much TV or movie, but I love anime movies because you get them done in like an hour and a half, and still enjoy it.
Yes, and I'm gonna say TV shows, but just because I like the more like drawn out storytelling.
All right.
Have you said? Yeah, that was all. That was the last one.
Oh, that was the last one. All right.
Yep.
Phenomenal. Well, I think we've gone for.
By the way,
perfect
Josh,
length
I
of
just wanted to
time.
ask. Are you into My Hero Academia?
Oh God, yes.
Okay.
I love that shit.
Have you seen the movie Heroes Rising?
I have not. I've only seen the TV series. I am behind on like all the movies. I actually have a couple of them creatively acquired on my computer that I might have to check out at some point, but I have not watched them yet.
Okay, I literally I hadn't even finished season 2, and I just like made the choice to go see the movie, and it was incredible. It's really good. So if you get a chance to see it, I think it's in theaters right now, but because I went to see it at a theater in town, but it's really, really good. It's just like it's nothing like crazy, but the visuals are just absolutely stunning. Like most of My Hero has been, yeah. So if you get a chance, definitely see it. Anyway, that's all I was gonna bring up.
No problem. Well, cheers and thanks for joining us, Josh, for take 2 of our special episode. And glad to have you join us here today.
Jeez, this was like the worst time of my life. I mean, it was great to be here. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for having me.
You're not getting an invitation.
Oh, you're so
back.
kind.
Get fucked. No, but everyone, don't read his. No, actually, we're gonna leave a link. We're gonna leave a link to the first volume of AR Dragonfly on Amazon in the description, or if there's like a series page for all of them, we'll throw that in there. I've read volume 1 and I am very intrigued by the story because you sent me the first 4 volumes for free, and I very much appreciate that. It is very terrific of you. I thank you for everything you've done. But yes, it was great to have you here, and we hope you had a good time, despite you literally cursing us just 2 seconds ago.
That didn't happen. What cursing?
But
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Neither. Anyway, cheers for coming along, and Gus, do the outro.
Do the outro. Okay, so if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so. Please give us social interaction. We're lonely. You can follow us at FireStorm Pod on Twitter and nowhere on Facebook. Well, you can find us on Facebook, but we're not gonna.
Yeah.
Not gonna respond.
We don't use it. What are you on Twitter, Josh?
I actually have 2 Twitters. The first one is J Piedra OELN. That's my author account. So that's JJP Iedra OELN. My second one is JJ Piedra TOH, which is my Outer Haven account. So if you want to check out like all of my anime reviews, manga reviews, news stories I post, editorials, game reviews, and all the other fun stuff, go ahead and follow that account and check out all that great content.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Terrific.
Yes. And if you want to leave us any suggestions or questions or anything, please do so in the comments, or you can send us an email, a strongly worded complaint, or anything, at firestormproductions2@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps, number 2. That's all, right? That's the whole outro? Okay,
Yes.
I did it. Epic. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See ya.
Peace.
No.